Hello everyone, today's game is from Breslau 1865 with the white pieces Johann Zukertort with the black pieces Adolf Anderssen. Okay, we're going to look at a devastating miniature in the Ruy Lopez Cozio variation, and we're going to discuss some basic chess principles along the way, so fasten your seatbelt. So here's the Ruy Lopez and Knight GE7, which is a rare guest nowadays, but you see it every now and then. This is the so-called Cozio variation. The positives are that it protects the knight on c6, of course, from doubling from the doubled pawns. So, say if you're going against a player who always opts for the exchange variation of the Ruy Lopez at the a6. Okay, you could play something like this to at least throw a monkey wrench in that idea. Okay, because now after bishop takes c6, you just take with the knights, and white is just giving up the bishop pair for nothing. The downside of the move knight e7, as you might observe, is that first of all, there's no pressure being put on the white center. Normally, if the knight is here, say for instance in the Berlin defense, you see that the knight is directly threatening to capture the e pawn in this position. Alright, so white of course has to react to that, whether he defends it with d3 and goes into certain variations of the Berlin Wall, but nevertheless knight f6 forces the consideration of what to do about the defense of the e4 pawn. So knight ge7 can be considered a passive move. Alright. And then furthermore, I might add that it also blocks the bishop in on e7. So to me, there's more demerits to the move than positive. Alright. Now, to mention one of the positives, it does, besides of course preventing the double pawns, it does help prepare d5 in this position. Okay, so I'm going out on a limb, right, to give this move some type of respect here, because knight f6 does the same thing as far as preparing d5 is concerned. So anyway, there you have it on the so-called Cozio variation, and to me it has some surprise value, but that's about it. And of course, lanes are open to play f5 at some point, but that's the story of that move. c3 was played by Zukertort. Very simple chess here, planning a two-pawn center, right, to follow up with d4 at some point. Adolf Anderssen plays d6, right? He just fortifies the e pawn, and also he prepares to move this piece again to g6. All right. d5 is possible here, okay, but then the e pawn would be captured at this point, and then sample variation you can see here. And I like white's position here. It's a little better. A nice little advantage here. So d6 instead of d5. d4, there's your two-pawn center. Now bishop d7. Alright, and of course this helps to keep black from having his pawn structure ruined, because as I said, this knight is about to move. So there will be no protection from black getting his pawn structure damaged at some point. And also this knight would be pinned if this bishop is not here. So moves like d5 and stuff like that are on on schedule. Alright, so bishop d7 keeps white from ruining the pawn structure. Again, the major problem here with black is that his plan is very slow. Okay, and white has used this time in order to just build a favorable position. Has a solid center, black has almost zero pressure on the center. And so although black is solid, of course, right, his pawn structure is good. He's having issues with his development, and he's just basically giving white a free hand in the center here. Other alternatives besides bishop d7, of course, is to try to attack immediately a6, and play could go bishop a4, e takes, c takes, d5. Like if black wanted to play a little more aggressively, but still, I like white's position here, and this looks like an open variation from an open Ruy Lopez that was possibly transposed in. All right, and this is a good position for white. Another option again is e takes d4. Again, white is still good, right? Because now he can just simply develop his knight to c3 after the pawn on d4 has been exchanged. And here, white has a very solid position in the center and a nice lead in development, whereby he can start to use the open files to attack the black king. So bishop d7 was played. Castle by Zukertort. Okay, and notice how straightforward and simple the white moves are. All right, he's not even doing anything special, but because black has been playing so passively, white has just built up a nice advantage here. So that's a principle that you can take and put that in your brain. All right, that playing passively is a no-no in chess. That will get you in a bad position faster than almost playing just outright bad moves. All right, playing moves that don't attack anything, or you're just concerned about your side of the board. All right, if you don't stop your opponent from taking territory and control of the board, you'll end up in a cramped and compromised position sooner than later. Finally, knight g6. All right, so it frees the e7 bishop, and also keeps the e5 point strong for black. Now knight g5. All right, so this is a very provocative move here. Okay, there's various ideas here, of course, like f4, opening up the f file to attack here. At some point maybe this bishop can transfer back here. All right, so this is one of those moves where it's white feels that he's in a position where he could try to attack black, or at least get black to do something that might not be in his best interest at this point. So here, just a simple bishop e7 here, seems like the most natural move, right? That bishop has been sitting on f8 forever. You need to develop. It seems like the best option. Can white, do a move at like queen h5 at this point? It's possible, although he will be leaving his center sort of neglected here. However, in the game, Anderssen, who's a fantastic tactician in his own right, played the move h6 here, and Zukertort played knight takes f7. A fantastic move in the spirit of the 1800s, right? But it's a fantastic move, and I believe it's a sound move. I don't see any direct refutation. I think white has tremendous compensation here, and all the factors that exist before this move, to me, give white the green light to make this sacrifice. The fact that black is so passive, right, and his pieces are not adequately developed. All right, look at the rooks on a8 and h8 respectively. Look at the bishop on f8. All right. Look at the queen on d8. This king's still in the middle, right? So when you put these factors together, you know, it usually means that, you know, sacrifice is possible, or at least the player making the sacrifice will have compensation. All right. So he sacks the knight, and you know, along with the plan that we mentioned before of opening the F file and using this diagonal right here. King takes F7, so Anderssen is up for the challenge, and now the bishop just switches to the C file. All right, so it's important not to allow the king to get to G8, right? Because then he can, you know, just tuck himself back there on H7. So the check is important. Anderssen plays King E7. Now a more stubborn defense is probably King E8, but you can see perhaps with this knight hanging, Anderssen did not want to enter into this pin right here after Queen H5. All right, then the only defense, or proper defense here, would be Queen F6. After Knight CE7, then F4 is coming. Also here. So Queen F6, F4. Anyway, E takes D4 because you really don't want to. You really can't afford to play this move. This guy is pinned, and then the queen is forced to move away. So you really can't do that. So E takes D4 will have to be played, and then F5, of course, exploiting this pin situation here. Another option, the Queen H5, of course, we just mentioned, is bringing the other knight back to E7. All right. So now we have switched the roles of the knights in the comical fashion, from the queen side to the king side, and then you have the same response with F4. And again, if E takes F4, Rook takes F4, and then you have this threat on the board. So the queen has to move in order to give the king some room. And then you see white just gaining back the material with interest here in this position. So instead of King E8 though, King E7 was played. Of course, now the knight is unprotected, but black is not entering into the pin. So Queen H5 happens, and now you can probably see Anderssen's defensive idea. And the idea was to play Queen E8 to defend the knight, and then at the same time to slip his king back to D8, and then of course, you know, escape by moving to the C file. Alright. However, he may have overlooked, and probably did overlook, this beautiful move here, Queen G5 by Zukertort, just giving up the queen. After H takes G5, Bishop takes G5 is checkmate. Okay, so we can see the beautiful mate with the two bishops involved in this position. So that was only 12 moves, but I hope you enjoyed that game and learned a little bit about the dangers of cramped positions, and also learned why I do not like the Cozio variation of the Ruy Lopez also. So please like and subscribe, comment below, share this video on social media with your friends if you you know, put chess videos on Twitter or something like that. And also check the links below. Please donate to my channel, and also down below will be links to you know, chess software, DVDs, and or books related to the opening that you saw on the board today. So we will be having DVDs down there based on the Ruy Lopez and its subsequent variations. So I'll see you guys on the next video.